Dance Moms has no shortage of talented dancers, but that never stopped Abby Lee Miller from playing favorites. Here are some of the most underrated dancers who totally deserve the spotlight. Watch until the end to find out who managed to snag the #1 spot.
You have a long road ahead of you.
Cameron Bridges. Cameron made her first appearance on Dance Moms in Season 4, but in Season 7 she was invited to join the Dance Moms crew by Abby Lee Miller. Cameron eventually decided to leave the ALDC and form the Irreplaceables. This allowed her to step into the spotlight instead of being put on the back burner. Many fans feel as though Cameron never got to reach her full potential on the show. Despite having awesome footwork, incredible flexibility, and extreme grace, Cameron was often used as a filler.
Cameron doesn't do what she wants her to do, she's gonna tell us to go home.
The gorgeous dancer was hardly ever given any exciting opportunities, and oddly enough, some fans seemed to dislike her altogether, but that probably would have changed if she'd been given the time of day. Jojo Siva. Jojo with the Bobo made her first appearance on the second season of Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition. Despite being ridiculously famous today, Jojo wasn't always admired by the other contestants, and let's just say that her loud personality had a lot to do with it.
And sometimes she's a little too crazy.
Jojo joined Dance Moms in Season 5 after having made a few guest appearances in Season 4. Many fans feel as though Jojo's dancing abilities were super underrated, and they're not exactly wrong. Jojo was far from being the team's weakest link. She was a solid addition to the team and always held her own. Her solos were on point and she brought something different to the table, but some would argue that her over-the-top personality took away from her performances. What do you guys think? Was Jojo underrated or overrated? Paige Hyland. Paige is often considered as one of the weakest dancers on Dance Moms, and Abby Lee Miller never let her forget it. Paige loved to perform dark numbers that were heavy in the gymnastic department, but hardly got these types of dances assigned to her. She performed the least amount of solos and was often scolded by Abby, who believed her to not have what it takes to be a professional dancer.
You're finished. Next.
Many fans feel that Paige had a lot more to offer and would have even surpassed Kendall if Abby had focused on training her instead of yelling at her. On top of that, Abby constantly gave Paige terrible choreographies, so she never really got her chance to shine. Mackenzie Ziegler. Mackenzie is known for being one of the youngest dancers on Dance Moms. She basically grew up in Abby's studio, where she was forced to live in her sister's shadow. Instead of focusing on her individual talents, Abby chose to compare her to Maddie time and time again.
She keeps saying that I have to do like you, but I'm not you.
Unlike her sister, Kenzie preferred group dances instead of solos. She had an amazing technique and was known for her stellar onstage dynamic. Many feel as though Abby did her a great injustice by typecasting her in cutesy acro dances. By Season 4, Mackenzie's confidence kicked in and she began getting the recognition she deserved. Still, she's known for being a super underrated dancer. Kalani Hilliker. Kalani was arguably one of the best dancers on the show. She literally gave Maddie and Kendall a run for their money. Unfortunately, Abby continuously told Kalani that Maddie was better than her.
I'm sick and tired of you being a second-place dancer.
Instead of embracing her differences and highlighting her talents, Kalani could have done so much more, but instead she was giving acro solos over and over again, which stopped her from showing just how talented she really was. Kalani is a natural-born dancer. Abby immediately took a liking to her because she had incredible flexibility and technique. Still, she never got the credit she deserved. Chloe Lekusiak. Don't even get us started about Chloe. This talented dancer was so underrated that Dance Moms fans everywhere are still bubbling with anger today. We can't express how many times Chloe should have won first place, but managed to get bumped down to second.
That means that the overall winner would have been Maddie.
She played the role of the underdog time and time again, which totally wasn't fair. For the first 3 seasons, Chloe was severely underrated. It's important to keep in mind that, unlike the other girls, Chloe had been training consistently for years, but despite her lack of experience, she managed to rival with Maddie, and that's saying something. Brooke Hyland. Brooke was the oldest permanent dancer on the team, and for a long time she was considered to be Abby's favorite. But everything changed towards the end of the series when Brooke's motivation began taking a hit. According to fans, Brooke was super underrated due to her age. She was 13 years old and still dancing with 9 and 10-year-olds, which did nothing for her. But when she danced with people her age, her talents didn't go unnoticed.
They looked like professional dancers.
She wasn't being challenged enough and lost her motivation, which led to Abby thinking she had lost her talents, but that couldn't have been further from the truth. Brynn Rumsey. Brynn was often regarded for her excellent dancing abilities, but for some reason the producers of Dance Moms chose to paint her in a timid light. They made it look like she was a shy girl who was too afraid to show emotions on stage.
That's what's bad. It's the acting. Yeah, you don't want to do it.
Which did nothing for her on-screen personality. Brynn is often pegged as one of the most underrated dancers on the show, but in reality, she and Kalani were totally on the same level. Nia Frazier. It's no secret that Nia is a wonderful dancer. Okay, well, maybe it is. Nia was hardly ever given the time of day, and some might even argue that her flaws were broadcasted while her talents were shunned. Although Nia was far from being the best dancer on the show, she was a total asset. She knew how to build up her characters and was the queen of group dances. Sure, she may have lacked some technique.
Nia, look at your legs in the mirror. Make sure they look beautiful.
But she excelled in other departments. Ileana Walmsley. Ileana is a natural-born dancer. She literally has it all. She's got technique in the bag and grace for days. She surpassed all of the other kids her age by miles and miles. Unfortunately, her special talents weren't utilized, and Abby continuously gave her awful choreographies. Her dance numbers did her no justice whatsoever.
You're supposed to be amazing and wonderful, and I'm not saying amazing and wonderful.
After seeing what Ileana has accomplished since her time on Dance Moms, it's easy to see just how underrated she truly was. Before you go, let us know who your favorite dancer is and why, and be sure to tell us if they were underrated, overrated, or somewhere in between. And that's a wrap. Give this video a big thumbs up if you love Dance Moms, and don't forget to subscribe to The Things if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, we'll catch you next time.